start our August 5th Town Board meeting. Thank you all for coming. I'd like to welcome Mary Jenks and her family, Mother Abigail, and introduce the Honorable Senator Jordan and his staff, Debbie. Thank you for coming. Want to stand for the pledge, please? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Take the roll call, please, Sue.
Supervisor Lamb?
Here.
Deputy Supervisor McEachran?
Here.
Councilman Bogardus?
Here.
Councilwoman Culligan? Here. Councilman O'Connor?
Absent. Julie, is anybody signed up to speak?
No.
Everybody had a chance to read last month's minutes. If they have, somebody want to make a motion to approve them?
I'll make a motion we approve last month's minutes.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Approved. We have a proclamation for the family of Abigail Jenks. Councilman Bogardus has worked with them. He's also a local fire chief, so I'm going to give him the honor of reading it.
I have to show my age of the glasses here. First thing I want to do is, since I learned of the passing of Abigail, through my placement of employment, I was involved early on in the process. I've worked with the family. I've worked with military gentlemen, people to try to coordinate a lot of things. Through the town board, I was given a lot of leeway to set up stuff as far as the procession back from the airport and stuff like that. And I want to thank the town board for giving me the latitude to allow me to do what I feel was the right thing to one of our own. It's tough to lose a child. It's even tougher to lose an active service person who is there to protect our community from any wrongdoing in the world. It's with great honor and pleasure that Supervisor Lamb has asked me to read this proclamation.
Problem is I cry too easy.
He does. This is a proclamation. Whereas America was founded on the principles of liberty, opportunity, and justice for all. And we recognize the men and women of our armed forces who have valiantly defended these values throughout our nation's history. These remarkable individuals have helped to make our nation secure and advance the cause of freedom worldwide. By answering the call of duty and risking their lives to protect our fellow countrymen, these patriots have inspired our nation with their courage, compassion, and dedication. Whereas Specialist Abigail Rose Abby Jenks was born November 18, 2000 in Pensacola, Florida, and whereas Abigail Rose Jenks was a 2018 graduate of the Saratoga High School, where she was an outstanding student and a resident of the town of Wilton, and whereas Abigail Rose Jenks enlisted in the United States Army in October of 2018, and whereas Abigail Rose Jenks trained as a fire support specialist at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and completed the course at Fort Benning, Georgia. And whereas Abigail Rose Jenks was assigned to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, with the 82nd Airborne Division, Specialist Abigail Rose Jenks served as a forward observer assigned to Headquarters Battery, 1st Battalion, 319th Airborne Field Artillery Regiment, 3rd Brigade Combat Team. And whereas Abigail Rose Jenks was killed on April 19, 2021, while participating in an airborne training operation from a UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter over Sicily drop zone on Fort Bragg. And whereas Abigail Rose Jenks' military career was tragically cut short, however, she earned the Army Achievement Medal Army Good Conduct Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Global War on Terrorism Medal, Army Service Ribbon, and the Army Parachutist Badge. Specialist Jenks was subsequently, awarded the Meritorious Service Medal, and whereas through the years, our veterans have returned home from their duties to become active and responsible citizens in their community. Further contributing to the growth and development of our nation, Abigail Rose Jenks was not given the opportunity. And whereas Abigail Rose Jenks was laid to rest in the Greenfield Cemetery in Greenfield, New York on May 2nd, 2021, at the age of 20. Her ultimate sacrifice will never be forgotten. And whereas the town of Wilton honors the memory of Specialist Abigail Rose Jenks as an outstanding member of the community, one can only imagine what she could have accomplished had she served a full voluntary enlistment. Now thereof be it. Proclaimed the 5th day of August, 2021, is hereby dedicated to the memory of Abigail Rose Jenks in grateful recognition on behalf of all the town of Wilton. In witnesses thereof, we have hereunto set our hands and affixed the seal of the town of Wilton this 5th day of August, 2021. Signed, Sue Baldwin, Town Clerk, and Town Supervisor John Lamb.
The senator's got something next. All right.
Good evening, Supervisor Lamb and the Wilton County Board. It's an honor to be with you tonight to posthumously honor United States Army Specialist Abigail Jenks for her incredible, faithful, and patriotic service to our grateful nation. I'm also here to recognize afterwards the town of Wilton for becoming the latest Purple Heart community in my 43rd Senate District. But first and foremost, I want to recognize Abigail. Abigail Jenks was born on November 18, 2000 in Pensacola, Florida. I'm happy that her mom, Mary Jenks, is here, and her brother, Anthony, which I'm so happy to meet. And as well as significant other who I'm sure has been helping to hold the family together, so thank you. Abigail Jenks grew up locally in our greater Greenfield, Saratoga area and had a passion for animals, participating in the local 4-H club. After graduating from Saratoga Springs High School in 2018, Abigail Jenks enlisted in the United States Army and became a paratrooper at Fort Bragg in June of 2019. I have the utmost respect for her in her decision to join the Army, to protect and serve our nation, and to train and stand ready to defend our land and the rights that we all enjoy as Americans. Abigail completed advanced individual training at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and the basic airborne course at Fort Benning, Georgia. She was a fire support specialist serving as a forward observer with the brigade's headquarters and headquarters battery 1st Battalion 319th Airborne Field Artillery Regiment. Sadly, Specialist Abigail Jenks passed away on April 19, 2021 during training while performing a static line parachute jump from the UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter when she tragically suffered a fatal injury. United States Army Specialist Abigail Jenks was known by her families and her peers as a hardworking, confident paratrooper who loved art, animals, and always showed compassion for her fellow paratroopers. For her dedicated service to our country, Specialist Abigail Jenks was awarded many medals and commendations, which were already read out, and that's a lot for someone who was so young and served for the amount of time that she did. She earned every single one of those medals, and they should make you very proud. Abigail, or Abby as she was known to family and friends, was engaged to her fiancé, Sergeant Shane Allen Ward Graham of Fort Bragg, North Carolina. She She died at the young age of 20 as one of our nation's heroes before she could live out her life as she had planned it. I have a 20-year-old son the same age, and it breaks my heart to think that I could have lost him as well. I can't imagine what you've been through these past few months. I hope though that it gives you satisfaction that you have a community behind you that recognizes Abigail for the service to our nation, that your state senator honors her and respects her so much, as we all do, everybody in this room. It's my honor to offer my thanks to United States Army Specialist Abigail James and posthumously recognize her exemplary patriotic service to our nation and offer our heartfelt thanks to her family joining us tonight. I'm proud to present the New York State Senate proclamation to the James family who are here. America is a better, stronger, safer place thanks to the service of a courageous patriot like Abigail. You have this Senate proclamation to present to you. I'm scared to use the whole thing, but you'll enjoy it.
Thank you, Senator Jordan and Councilman Regardless. Next.
So as I mentioned earlier, I want to recognize and congratulate the town of Wilton on becoming the latest Purple Heart community in the 43rd Senate District. The Purple Heart is the oldest and among the most venerated military decorations awarded in the name of the President to those wounded or killed while serving with the U.S. military. It was created by General George Washington to honor and thank the brave soldiers who fought under his command for America's independence. The Purple Heart has been awarded to just about 2 million American patriots that have been wounded in battle or killed in action. America's Purple Heart recipients are our nation's best and bravest, and it's our privilege and our duty to recognize and honor them. During our recent legislative session, my bipartisan legislation establishing August 7th, which is this coming Saturday, as Purple Heart Day here in New York, was passed by the state Senate. So next year I have to start all over again and get it passed in both houses for it to become state law. Becoming a local Purple Heart community and observing Purple Heart Day are important ways we can send a heartfelt statewide message of just how much America's heroes mean to us and how grateful we are for their honorable, faithful service and their courage and selfless sacrifice. My 43rd Senate District includes 60 municipalities, and out of those 60, 50 have now become Purple Heart communities, with more on the way. All 4 counties in my district now are Purple Heart counties. That would be Saratoga, Rensselaer, Washington, and Columbia. They've all successfully passed local resolutions and have become Purple Heart communities and counties. This nonpartisan grassroots effort that I've been leading to establish Purple Heart communities affirms local communities' respect and recognition of these incredible American heroes. So I want to congratulate the town of Wilton. I have a New York State Senate proclamation to present to you to recognize your milestone in becoming a Purple Heart community, and thank you for recognizing Purple Heart.
Smile, John.
Stand up, John.
And so I gave everyone the town board a Purple Heart supporter pin, and I just want to tell you that my Purple Heart supporter pin was given to me when I was a councilor in the town of Half Moon, and we became a Purple Heart community. I wear it to all my Purple Heart events, and I guess that was when it really struck a chord with me, what the Purple Heart stands for, and how wonderful it is that our communities are recognizing the Purple Heart recipients and their families. It really means a lot to them. So thank you.
Thank you for doing this. And
Thank you.
for everything you did tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We have the Delagon Pond Footbridge bid award. The bid was like $39,063. A lot cheaper than I thought it'd be. We're gonna talk about it. Somebody wanna make a motion so we can move it on?
I'll make a motion to award the bid for the Delagon Pond footbridge.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Number 8, we've sent letters before. I don't know what happened, but at Parkers Road, Galler Road, it's a nightmare. So we need a letter again. I'd like to see a traffic study done. I talked to the Chad Cook from the county. Myself, I'd also like to see a 4-way stop sign there, the speed limit reduced. Because when you come down south, Clepatars probably notice this more than I do. When you coming south before you get there, it's pretty well blinded on that right side. Do you feel the same way? That should be addressed, so we need a motion to move this forward.
I'll make a motion that we move this traffic study forward
And all the other things.
and all the other good stuff.
And just to clarify, this letter goes
So the county,
to the county because it's a county road. It's not a town of Wilton.
county road.
We need county action on it, correct?
Parkers is town, but Wilton Greenfield's county.
We need
That
it.
is a truck route too, is one of the other problems.
We need it even if it's a town road though.
Right, but we should send a letter to county and state, so make sure they get it. It sounds like maybe somebody didn't get it the last time.
So make sure people
Or they
are
got
aware.
it.
Right.
Or they got it and did nothing with it.
You got a motion?
We did.
A second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Conservation easement on the Klepatar properties. You want to speak about it?
This is Maria Trapka from Circle the Plan, if you want her to speak about the
If you would, please.
project.
Sure, I'd love to. Thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it. Ryan made you maps, but I made you maps too, so, but it, oh, you
These
got
ones?
some maps?
We got
also?
'em.
All right, well, at the back of my set of maps, there's a budget. And I know that you all
We
have
would like to see that.
some of the numbers, so, if you would, yeah, that would be it. So we have the Saratoga Plan as a nonprofit conservation organization. And it protects land in a few different ways. One is it helps municipalities to do good planning and to protect open spaces, farmland. But it also accepts title to properties and opens preserves for the public to enjoy. And or conservation easements, which are permanent legal restrictions placed on land. And in the case of a conservation easement, our job is to make sure that the terms of the easement are followed forever and to enforce them if there's ever a violation in what the easement says. So typically they retire a portion of the development rights on a property forever. And over a number of years, I've worked with Joanne and Tom Klepatar on their property. And they've got about 435 acres right here, which is on Strangos Road and a little bit on Parkhurst Road. But most of it is up on the Palmerstown Ridge, which is that sharp embankment that you see from Route 9. And then this is the whole Palmertown Mountains, which forms the very southeast corner of the Adirondack foothills. So this whole area has been identified as a very important area, and for ecology, for water quality. The Snook Hill is running, several tributaries of the Snook Hill are running through here. The Kinross is running this way, coming out of the Spring Run trail. The Spring Run is coming out of here as well. So there's major stream systems that are protected by all of this forested land. It's been identified as a place with climate change that species would be able to find enough, would not face obstacles to finding habitats and moving to cooler places, either higher or sometimes lower, just depending. And so as this whole area, it's a 62 square mile area between routes 9 and 9N and Saratoga Springs and the Hudson River. And this whole area is, like I said, 62 square miles. Key pieces of it are already protected: Daniels Road State Forest, Green Tree Lake Reserve, Lincoln Mountain State Forest, and Maroon Lake State Park within this area. So you can see how this particular property fits and connects other places that are already protected. We joined together the four towns, Wilton being a prime player, the town of Moreau, the town of Corinth, the town of Greenfield, Skidmore College, New York State DEC, New York State Office of Parks and Rec, Saratoga Planning, and the Open Space Institute formed the Palmertown Partners Guidance Committee. And we've been working together for a couple of years now to protect the forests of the Palmertown Range and to develop a master plan for a recreational trail system that accommodates users of all stripes, whether they're using a wheelchair or they're a snowmobile or a horse or they're walking, mountain biking. And here you're seeing the guts of the master plan, which was just finished last Friday, actually. And now we are working on developing specific trail designs. Like for Skidmore's land, you all were very helping us with the county forest. There's a community forest property at 200 acres. It's going to be acquired right here. And your town went in on a county grant application with us to build a parking lot here so that people would have access. I'm just trying to lay the groundwork for this particular conservation project. So before I get into its specifics, do you want to talk, do you have any questions about the whole Palmertown project, its goals, where we're at with it right now?
I see on your map there, it says towns of Wilton and Greenfield. What's the acreage breakdown between the two towns?
This is the town line right here, and I'd have to look, I've got it here, how much acres. I think it's 63 acres in Greenfield.
65, I think.
65 acres in Greenfield and 35 minus.
There's 4 towns involved?
In the whole Palmertown project, yes.
No, I mean on this project.
2.
Oh, just the 2 towns?
Correct.
All right. And I think probably what you want to know is what, so the only question I really have is the town's money. They're looking for $25,000 of taxpayer money, and
Was that for the whole project, the $25,000?
Yeah.
Or is that our share as opposed to Greenfield's share?
It's a $544,000 project for to purchase the conservation easement, do all the due diligence, and to put the stewardship fund aside to make sure that we can always take care of the property. Okay, so the last page there that I gave you.
Right, that's what I see here. Now,
Yeah.
we just did the same thing with the Vinsec property, which was highly developable. And there was no, we approved it, you know, we backed it up, we endorsed it, but there was no taxpayer money that was divvied out. And I'm curious to why there is now, and I think we've done this before in the past on the Tucker one, and I don't think it was that high even on that one. Does anybody have them figures?
10,000.
10,000.
Yeah, what this one gives you though, this is an unusual conservation easement in that the landowners are willing to allow the public to access it and to build a trail system here. So it's different in that way. It's not a farm, you know, a private farm.
It's a
with no
non-revenue
public access.
generating parcel. It's not going to generate revenue like the farm will. Is that the difference? It's a non-generating parcel of property.
No, I think what you're saying
Well,
is
they-
that they're gonna allow the public on the property, where the
Correct.
farm, they don't allow it, and that would be the only difference.
Right.
Oh, this
I mean,
can be
it could-
developed?
It could be.
Cannot be developed once this is in
Well, it
place.
has one house on it already, and they're reserving the right to build a second house on the property. It has a hunting cabin on it now,
Oh, I got you.
and they could harvest timber on it.
But no development, no neighborhoods or anything like that?
No, just the one.
What was
house
already told, okay.
And the public trails.
Yeah. And the 25,000 requested is over, it's a one-time payment, but that's over
Research towards the acquisition of the...
a lifetime of this being town property for maintenance.
I don't think it ever becomes town property.
Not town property.
Usable by.
Usable,
Yeah.
Conserved
well
property
beyond
in the town.
Well beyond the lifetime, and it's
Yeah.
perpetual. It's forever.
Yeah.
A conservation easement.
Okay.
So, yeah, so what there's two things we're asking the town if you can consider. One is endorsing a grant application to New York, to Saratoga County.
Which I have definitely no problem with.
Okay, so we would be asking the county for $100,000 towards the $544,000 project. The landowners are willing to bargain sale their easement for half its value. So it's been appraised, it has a preliminary appraisal done for $420,000, and they're willing to donate $210,000. And that leaves us with,
210 plus
yeah,
110.
about $235,000 that we have to raise privately or by writing grants. This particular project, New York State has just established a new program for forest conservation easements. And this project was actually used as an example to the state legislators as the type of project that this new fund would fund. And we're expecting them to release an RFP this year that we could apply for. And then we'll be doing private fundraising as well. So we're asking the town, I think, was it about 2% of the total project?
Oh, that's it, not the issue is when we get other, like, in the past, we've done it, and the numbers, you know, is 25,000 versus 0 to the Vinsec family, and then 10,000 to the Tucker, and then it goes to 25. I just hate to see this be a trend where next year it's going to go from 10, 0 to 10 to 25 to maybe 100 or 150. When does it, you know, once you start this trend, it doesn't seem like it's going to end.
how many acres was the Tucker?
Tucker Farm was pretty huge,
Yeah, 58.
and it was like prime real estate. I mean, this was real estate that any builder would love to get their hands on.
Well, it's different.
Towns
It's
do
the
different things.
appraised value. You know, the appraisals on this, you know, is for the conservation easement. So the appraisers come up with the value of the project. Similar to the farm, you know, they come up with the developable capabilities of the Tucker or the Vinsec farm. You know, that value with having water and sewer available right there. So it raises the value that much more. You know, this being up on the Palmertown Range, a little bit less value, but you're saying the difference in...
Doesn't seem like it's less valuable to me.
So how much is the town,
$450,000.
how much is the town of Greenfield kicking in towards this Is our share and Greenfield's both $25,000?
No, Greenfield declined to put any money towards it.
All right, so Greenfield has half of what we have.
No, not half, but.
Well, we're 135, they're 65 acres, so basically half as much, but they're not putting any money into this project?
Correct. They don't have any money in their open space recreation fund.
So are we shouldering the shortfall on them?
Well, you're really helping Saratoga plan to.
I mean, I love the concept of plan and everything like that, but
Yeah,
it just, you know.
I mean.
I think we all do.
So we have to raise the $235,000, so that's.
With that lining up with the Palmer Down Ridge, that should not be a problem with grants at all, I couldn't imagine. Didn't they just okay that for like there was a huge grant on that.
I thought they just received some money.
Like, I know that, like, the town of Malta right now is putting in $100,000 for a farm project with no public access. But, you know, the different.
Like I said, we're responsible for.
Why don't you word it for Saratoga plans, we apply to the county, and we should make a motion on that and get that out of the way. You gotta have a letter from us to the county for the grant. You wanna word that to Councilman McCachran, and he can make a motion? How it should be said?
So the draft resolution that.
Wait a minute, I like just.
If I'm understanding the supervisor's thought, you can use the existing resolution, which has a bunch of whereas paragraphs, which are essentially feel-good paragraphs that establish what's going on. The resolve paragraph of the proposed draft resolution is only one paragraph, it's very short, and actually, if your concern is about the funding, you could use the language that's in the draft. Let me back up. If your concern is about the funding, but you're uniformly supportive of the grant application and the open space plan and the county funds and the like, you could use the draft resolution and just remove one phrase from the final paragraph. And the phrase would be commits $25,000 of town resources toward the acquisition of the easement project. If you eliminate that phrase, what's left is, now therefore be it resolved, the Town of Wilton Town Board at a regular scheduled meeting held on August 5th, 2021, voted to endorse conservation of the Klepetar family woodlands by Saratoga Plan, supports the use of Saratoga County open space funds for this project, and will accept county funds for this project and transfer them to Saratoga Plan. If you're of one mind on that, you could adopt the resolution, the draft resolution as prepared, by taking out the phrase.
What do you think?
I support the county if they wanna make it.
Is your problem the value? How much they're asking?
No, the value, we're spending town money. And no other town is spending it, and we're in the middle of a crisis, and, you know, to me, and we didn't do it on the last two projects, at least not in that amount, and I just don't want to set a precedent for the next.
Well, that's what I was asking. Is it the 25,000
That's the only issue I really have at this time without knowing.
Match what we did for the Tucker Farm?
Whoa.
Which was 10?
Well, my problem is, I rode around for last week with this rainstorm. We gotta spend a lot of money on our roads, where the roads are sunken in, we gotta put drains in, and that's the problem I got. We only got so much money. I know we're gonna spend some serious money on some of these roads.
Just couldn't come at a worse time, and I just.
As COVID is here, I think that's gonna really affect us once again, and
is that detrimental? Is 25,000 detrimental for this project to go through?
It's 25 more we'll have to raise. That's what.
So you don't actually know how much money you're going to get in grants and everything, correct?
We can't do the project until we raise it all, so.
Oh, you have to have the money first and then look for grants?
Applying for everything we can until.
So the 209,861 is yet to be collected?
Correct.
Okay.
I think it's going to benefit 4 towns. Why isn't 4 towns putting up?
Well, at least 2 towns on this particular
Well, it's really
section.
pertaining to 4. I mean, it links 4 towns. It links 4 towns in the state.
Palmer Ridge Range is a big area.
mean, it's huge.
It is, which means it's important to conserve. I mean, town of Wilton is 2/3 of the project and town of Greenfield is 1.
Now,
It's a
besides-
It's a shame we can't match the Tooker. So that we
Right, I don't
set
have a-
precedent at
really, I don't have a-
10,000 and then Greenfield throws in 5.
I really don't have
So
an issue with
everybody's
that.
got their 2/3 and their 1/3 coverage.
I just don't want to, I don't want to set a precedent where we just keep going higher and higher and higher
Now,
based
is there
on...
any other lands in the town of Wilton that we might be facing this same situation at?
They're everywhere.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is, you're coming to us.
I like your honesty.
Right, but you're
That's what, I mean, you guys are you're a partner in the strategy
Oh, yeah.
to
Right.
conserve as much
Well,
forest land.
My concern is you're coming to us asking us for money for this segment of it. And then I know there's a proposed trail right along the backside of Route 9 through the Jeep dealership and down through there. Is that a part of you as well?
No, that's a
that a
separate
part of them?
parcel.
No, that is,
Brian?
Artisanal?
yeah,
Yeah.
artisanal,
So are you going to be approaching us for more money through that trail?
Yes, she said that
I
clearly.
know that.
I haven't
So-
gotten that far,
So
you know.
we throw
That's next week,
25,000 or
Blaine. She said
10,000
that's
here.
next week.
Now, next
I
week we throw 10,000
personally
more.
agree with
Yeah,
you.
this is definitely a project that, this is 50 miles of trails.
Oh, I know.
It's gonna take a long time.
No, and again, I'm a complete supporter of it. It just, there's only so many times you can come to the well.
Well, I think we could always fund it anytime down the road. This isn't something you need right now to get this moving. And if you fall short, then maybe the towns can get together and, because you can't do anything, you just made it clear that you can't do anything till you raise 210,000. So,
Which, I mean, this is why we're going to the county. I mean,
Right.
as opportunities arise,
So, I mean-
that this would be eligible for, we'll just.
we could always kick in, if it comes down to not being able to do it, the town could always reevaluate, but to move it forward and get it going through the county, we don't have to
I'd
really.
like to see that get going, but I'd like to
Get
wait a
that
couple
done.
months, we see what happens in this town
Yeah, I
and all
mean-
the problems.
If we, and I know that, the town does have a few bucks put away, right? I mean, so it's not like, and it's, I know it's not a lot, but I just hate to set a precedent, and if something should arise from everything that's going on in the world today, I just don't think it's a good idea at this time, but I certainly would approve to move forward with the county, and then, a year down the road, when you start raising that money, and if you fall short, I don't think there's a person on this board that wouldn't say, let's chip it in, let's kick it in. I know I wouldn't.
If we can, yeah, knowing that this whole pandemic and stuff is hopefully
Yeah, I mean, that's,
I mean, my concern is again, we're here today asking for X amount of dollars.
you could raise 200,000 in 2 weeks, and we wouldn't have to put in anything.
And then a month from now, we're asking for X amount of dollars for another segment of this. And then a month from then, we're asking for more X amount of dollars for another
And
segment.
I think the only reason we kicked in on the Tooker thing is because it was a financial burden on him,
Right.
and we needed it to go through, and where the Vincent family, we didn't put anything in, and they gave up a lot of
We just
prime real estate, and we gave them zero.
We supported it.
but they still got their value. The town didn't put anything, I think it's important to know that the money that the town puts up for this project does not go to the Clepitars, it goes to Saratoga Plan.
Correct.
For future maintenance for here on ever. And same thing, with the Vinsec farm. They got their value of that land. To them, we didn't have to put anything into it.
Somebody paid the Vincex.
Correct. Yeah.
New York State.
Yeah, well, I'm saying, you said that we didn't give them any, like, they didn't get anything, but they did. Not from us.
Right, but I'm thinking that the Clepitars are actually getting something as well. I mean, they should be. I mean, they're giving up their property,
Half of
so.
their value. Well, they're giving up their development value, and then they're getting half of the east value.
Well, I think it was important that that's what they wanted to do with the property, and it was important not to build on it, so, I mean, I'm in favor of removing that one paragraph and moving it to the county, and then, if it gets closer to the grant and they're short 25,000, I don't think there's a person on this board that wouldn't move to, and I think we could still do it later. Mark, is that true or no?
There's no legal reason that you couldn't do it anywhere along the line.
Okay. So,
Got a motion,
So what we're
John?
doing right now is we're just not willing to commit to the 25,000. We're all in support of
right, we're
the
basically,
project, moving forward with the grants, everything with the county, but we're just going to reserve funding for now until we get through this pandemic
Sure.
budget season
basically what Greenfield did.
and see what's left in the coffer. Just being fiscally responsible.
Right, it's not our money, so, I mean, we can't just spend it.
The motion?
We make the motion
Take your motion.
as Mark read it without,
You got that?
does anybody have it written, or?
Yeah, you all have it
Right
written.
in front of him.
You all have it written. It's the draft resolution you have,
Just not gonna,
and you would just cross out in the very last paragraph, the phrase.
so who's got good eyes?
Right where Aaron's at.
I can read it. Do you need to
Aaron.
read that last paragraph or just omitting that sentence?
You don't have to read any of it. You can read the entire thing or any portion of it you want, but if you want, the motion can be as simple as adoption of the resolution as drafted with deleting the phrase, the commits phrase, from commits to easement project.
Okay.
Yeah, what you said.
Yeah,
Is your motion, Aaron?
She's gotta read it.
I will make that motion.
That'd be fine, Mark?
Omitting the commits 25,000 town resources toward the acquisition of the easement project.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And we will revisit in the
I'm sure the
future.
town clerk's got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Yes.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. We have a reappointment of Park and Rec of Ken Bishop from 7/1/2021 to 6/30/2024. We need a motion to reappoint him.
Make a motion to reappoint Park and Rec
Second.
Commission.
And obviously, he's all in favor of being reappointed.
As far as I know, they were all no-shows at the last month, so we'll see. We're gonna
I took the month off, I didn't tell you.
we're gonna
Do we have a second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed. William Capola is resigning from the Board of Assessment Review. Need a motion to accept his,
I'll make a motion to accept his resignation.
We don't accept it, he stays on, right?
we have a second?
Do we know why he's resigning?
I think he has health issues.
Just making sure there's no issues. I'll say,
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
I with regret.
Carried. We have hazardous waste day is, y'all have your literature in front of you, it's September 18th, it's on our website. People have to sign up through it. It tells them what they will and will not take. We did approve that. No,
we did.
Okay.
Just
It's not.
informational, right?
Yeah, information.
Is that posted on the website?
Yes, it's on there already.
Okay. Is that our only means of communication? For people to see the website?
Well, I'm
Or will
sorry,
we
I'm
doing-
gonna have them put it.
we post in the paper
I'm gonna put it in the
or-
local paper too,
Okay.
so, so enough people can be aware of this.
Thank you.
If we get the
And even on our
information.
website, we should put on, they got all these neighborhood things now, maybe they can, people can post them.
If we get the information, we can put it on our signs at the firehouse.
Yeah, well, you got it all in front of you.
I guess I do, don't I?
If you can email the flyer, I can email it to different neighborhood people.
Because Wilton has an electronic sign, we have.
All right, a few of us watched that federal funding, money we're getting. We already have it, it's in the bank. But we watched it today, we should make a motion accepting the federal funding, ARPA 2021. We should make a motion that we are accepting it, probably send them something.
I'll make a motion to accept the federal funding, ARPA 2021.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good. Committee reports, anybody got anything?
Yep. I sent out emails on this maintenance department plan. I didn't, actually, Aaron and I sat down and We sent a draft out. I'd like to make a motion to approve the town maintenance department plan to include the sharing of the town hall and Gavin Park maintenance staff when agreed upon by the two department supervisors.
And I've been there quite a few times, talked to people, everything's working well, they're all happy with it, how things are going.
No, absolutely.
But John's right, we should get it in the motion.
I'll second his motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I don't really have a committee report, but I do want to go back to item 13. And John, you touched on it, that the county hosted a webinar for the ARPA funds. There's a lot of work to do and be done.
I'm glad we got the staff we got.
Yeah, this is like all my pages of different notes from today. And the guidance,
Should probably want to raise in a month.
just so the audience is aware, the guidance has changed 3 times since May, since the funds were received.
Just to reprint these then?
And we have until 2024 to decide. But I did want to suggest that maybe we set up a workshop for the fall, once we're able to kind of digest. I know that the webinar is going to be sent out again. I would like to actually watch it again, or listen. I was listening on my phone, and I know that there's a slide presentation, so that may help.
Maybe we should set up as soon as possible.
Yeah, I just
Get
know,
it
like,
over with.
on Maria's, and we spoke for a while today, but there's a lot to figure out, and there's a lot of math to figure out, so I didn't know if maybe just in a couple months, once we get that number established, if we can set up a workshop just to make sure that we're all on the same page on what's eligible,
Right.
what's not,
And what the residents want.
and
too.
what the residents want. And
Not just what we want, it's what the residents want.
Oh, it's always that. But knowing what's allowable and what's not, and then looking to see what our needs are. Some of the things they talked about, like, God bless the town of Wilton, didn't apply to us. A lot of the problems and things that some of the funding can go to. But in the same instance, it almost ties our hands a little bit that we are fiscally responsible. So I just thought that would help us highlight maybe some of the key things that our residents are looking for, like broadband or something like that. And then we can just get an idea as we talk to people, what they'd like to see.
Yep. Anybody got anything else? I'd like to thank the highway department. Like I say, last few days, all this rain, how much time they put in, all the hard work they did, and they kept a lot of dangerous areas safe in my book, because I rode around with them Thursday night, and I couldn't believe the water. AIM Service had that croquet thing yesterday. You know, I got a letter on it. They raised close to $70,000.
Wow.
I'd like to thank the town board for giving the okay to use Gavin Park. We got 2 staff people here, John King, Kirk Haas. We got a nice letter for you guys, helpful for everything you did, stepping up to the plate. And they're very happy. They hope to come back. And I'd like to thank both the fire companies, have their ladder trucks there to raise our great American flag.
And I just want to thank the Klipitars
Yes.
for their generous position in that. Thank you.
And to the county board of supervisors, my 2 things I'm pressing for is that broadband. We were gonna think about doing it ourselves. I talked to them, they're gonna look into it, so I'd rather have the county spend their money than we spend ours.
Amen.
We're gonna have a representative for the town, and another major problem is our self-service. I've noticed it in the last 6 months getting worse and worse. Ryan Strickland worked something, trying to get the county to do something, and I've been told the problem with the self-service with this G5, these towers are too far apart. But I've never seen the phone service so bad in my life.
They work good on the middle of the road.
Yeah.
If you stand in the middle of the road, you get like 5 bars. You get horns blowing, but you get 5 bars.
Yeah. Where I work on Route 9, I know what corner of the building to go stand in if I want to make a phone call. But it's important, especially with schools, our schools and our fire department. As the usage increases, our availability is just going to become less, that we need to
But the county has formed task force. They're very concerned to get it all through the county. Another thing, last week I probably sat on 5 meetings on this COVID. I honestly believe the county health officials it's going to get worse. So I wish all our audience, people watching us, maybe they do a little more research on these shots, maybe take them, at least take them for your loved ones, but I really, and we're going to put things on our website, but this is going to be a serious problem, I think. I'm afraid to say that, but I think we're in trouble.
Well, right now we're at, 33% breakthrough in a 7-day rolling average, even for vaccinated people. So it's important that everybody,
Yeah, we had
vaccinated
a
or not,
death, we had a
remains diligent.
death yesterday in the town, 89 years old, but the person had existing, but serious stuff. Anybody from the audience got anything to say? Tell us what a great job we doing anything, or?
Not today.
Well, thank everybody for coming. Somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
No, we gotta do her report first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think I'd like to hear Maria.
Sorry.
Now the real problems start.
It's time to spend some money, John.
Yeah. He's trying to avoid spending money.
I hear it says that. I guess I shouldn't put them down.
So item 1 is our budget transfers, and the first item under that is moving money from our contingency account to legal fees to pay a bill there. Items 2 through 4, we're not going to meet based on a board decision tonight. Items 5 through 8 is just moving existing appropriations from available money that we have to purchase a Bobcat mower for our Buildings and Grounds Department, but which also will be used for various departments throughout the town. Items 9 through 11 is to move money from available and existing appropriations to fund our hazardous waste day. Item 12 is moving money to fund an item that was not previously budgeted for a road on White Birch Lane. It's partially where the money is coming from. Item 13 under the budget transfers is to fund fog seal purchase for the Brookside development. So it's just another component of the roads that were already done, but now fog seal is going to be applied to those same roads. So we're trying to get some money for that.
So
I'll make a motion.
Budget for budget transfers 1 to 13.
I'll make a motion, we approve the budget transfers 1 to 13, excluding 2, 3, and 4.
Be interested about that Bobcat.
Have a second?
Was there something else?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried.
Thank you. Item 2 is our budget amendments, and the first item under that is moving money from an existing capital project where we have money left over from our court building to fund a study for a Veterans Memorial Park. Item 2 is taking money that we are going to receive from the town of Greenfield for the Hillside Hudson Road and applying it toward the White Birch Lane project. Item 3 is related to recognizing the fact that we've sold equipment. We haven't modified our budget based on the additional revenue that we realized from the sale of that equipment, so we're going to use that money now to fund part of the White Birch Lane. Item 4 is the same concept. We had some additional money that came from the state for last year's CHIPS appropriations, so we're going to use that to fund White Birch Lane. And item 5 is the same concept. We received some additional money from FEMA this year for the October 2019 windstorm, which feels like a lifetime ago. So that's also going to be used to fund White Birch Lane.
That was before the storm.
Yeah.
Big storm.
The big storm.
I'll make a motion, we approve the budget amendments 1 through 5.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
Thank you. Item 3 is simply to...
Cash.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, cash.
Second.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Carried.
And item 4, personnel, has many components to it. The first one is that John King is requesting that Bill Amansky, who resigned last month, and the board approved his resignation last month, be rehired for a part-time position at the park. And this position, it's, I think, important to note that it won't, go ahead.
All right, I just want to, I spoke to Bill after he resigned, and there was a big issue why he made that decision to resign. And I basically let him know that we resolved that problem, that issue. There's going to be a different chain of command, and I asked him if he would be willing to come back full-time or part-time. So this is the result of,
Just reconsidering.
right.
Is that rate of pay the same?
Yes, his rate of pay is proposed to be the same as it was when he was full-time.
They don't start off as a new employee then?
Come on, chief.
Or is that how we do it?
What do we-
Between retire and resign.
Our help ads haven't worked out too well.
Okay, item B under personnel is that John King is requesting that Joseph Weldon be hired to replace Bill Amansky's previously vacated full-time position of maintenance worker. If approved, Mr. Weldon's start date would be effective Friday, August 6th, and his base rate is going to be $15.53 per hour. Item C, Scott Harrington is requesting that the board approve the hire of Victoria Herculo, am I saying that right? Herculo as part-time cleaner. Part-time positions, again, are not anticipated to be shared, as we had discussed earlier, because of the fact that their time is so limited. So her time, Victoria's time, would be concentrated here at Town Hall and surrounding, buildings within the campus. If approved, Ms. Herculo's start date would be effective Tuesday, August 10th, at the rate of $15.50 per hour.
Can we go on these 3 for now, in case we have an issue?
Absolutely.
Do we want to make a motion on personnel A, B, and C to approve it?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve those.
Second?
Is Victoria, she is over at,
Yes. Wilton
Parks,
Park.
is that the same rate of pay that she is over there, or is it different here based on
It may be different.
job responsibility?
Yeah, two different entities, so I can find out how much she's earning there, but
But budgeting
it's different
her hours at
tasks.
each location.
Right, she would be responsible
Well,
to
that's
budget
their
her
own
hours.
budget there, not
Right.
ours.
Okay, well, it's okay.
In my
That's
understanding,
separate.
she's happy with this
Yeah,
pay rate.
Yes.
interesting.
That comes out of Margot's.
I asked the same question today.
I think, Aaron, you seconded it, yes?
I did, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried.
Thank you. Kirk Woodcock is requesting that the town board approve the following. The first item is to move Zachary Infield from full-time laborer to the MEO position that was recently vacated by Jason Bruckner back in May. Zach Infield passed his CDL, so he would be eligible for that. His start date is dependent upon the completion of some pre-duty testing that he has to complete, so once the town gets the results from that, that would dictate his actual start date, and his MEO base rate would be $19.11 per hour. Item 2 is to move Michael Orton from full-time seasonal, and that sounds like a little bit of a misnomer. He's seasonal, working full-time hours, to the laborer position when the laborer position is vacated by Zachary Infield at the step 1 rate of $16 per hour.
What do we consider seasonal? Winter or summer?
No benefits.
They're-
No benefits.
Yes.
Summer.
Theirs is summer, some is winter.
And I've talked to
Yeah.
people about Michael, they're all very happy with him, a hard worker.
We need as many as we can get.
And the last item under personnel is to fill the vacant mechanics position with Stephen Dial at the step 1 hourly rate of $24.62. And if he's approved, his start date would be August 9th, 2021.
Would somebody like to make a motion for Kirk's requesting for 1, 2, and 3?
Make a motion to approve all
It
3.
is Kirk.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Now you can do the adjournment if you want. Unless you want to talk about Maria's raise that she's not going to approve. That she's not going to approve.
Thank you all for coming. Somebody want to make a motion to adjournment?
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
You want to let me, all in favor? Thank you.
Aye.
Aye.